Hi, I'm Bran. I love the Chicken Sisters.
Hi, I'm Jax, and I'll say it. I'm obsessed with the Chicken Sisters.
I'm Dan. I guess I still despise the Chicken Sisters, and this is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host this podcast.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, from, just a few minutes ago. Maybe double drop
early
day.
Saturday morning.
Double
if you
drop
decided you just listened to episode 5 of the Chicken Sisters, or maybe watched it on philo.tv/DTH, guess what?
What?
We got episode 6
We're
right
back.
now.
We're back. Hi. It's
Yeah.
great to be here. Talking about the Chicken Sisters. Jax, hello. How are you? Still good?
I'm so good. I'm loving this show. I am fired up. It's steamy. I'm fried. It's all happening.
Wow.
Can you believe there's only 2 left?
Wait, seriously? I thought
8
it was a 10
episodes.
episode run.
Just 8.
And also, it hasn't been announced that there's a season 2 yet, has it?
Wow.
No, I don't think
I
so.
would
I
imagine
don't think-
it's an expensive show because of the cast.
100%. And a couple of days ago, Skylar, Fisk, and Genevieve, actually, I think it is Angelson?
Yeah.
Yes. They were in a bathtub together doing a live, being like, I'm so sorry. I explained that correctly, but I didn't add context. They were fully clothed. There was no water in the tub, but part of the whole thing was that they were doing it in the tub because the lighting was good or something like that.
All right.
Sorry. I didn't say that to be sensational.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're
and
breaking
they were
some
like,
news here. I can't believe we didn't hear.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you. I don't think they're getting a
a.
second season if that's the case.
Yeah.
well, no, if they gave One Calls the Heart numerous seasons after Kevin McGarry and Chris McNally were drunk and dropping the F-bomb on a Hallmark channel,
Oh,
Instagram
I don't know
Live.
about this.
Oh, guys, that was amazing. It was.
I
when
heard
was
about
this?
it on Twitter, and then
Was
just-
this when you were still at Bubbly?
Oh yeah, this was probably 4 years ago, if not more. And I mean, honestly, it was awesome because like they weren't being disrespectful. They were just being like genuine and having a good time and clearly loving talking to each other. They were just enjoying a beer and talking how they would talk if it was just the two of them.
But
On the
on the
Hallmark
Hallmark
channel.
Channel's page.
It sure was. It
So
sure
great.
was. But Genevieve and Skylar were both saying things that was like trying to create more buzz for the show and being like, and let people know you want a season 2. So I'm just
It's a tough
really
sell,
hoping for
though,
it.
because it's a new streaming service. Everyone that's ever watched Hallmark has always gotten their TV in a linear terrestrial fashion. And the idea
Yeah.
that you now have to go to a streamer for an exclusive show. And I know this because my parents just moved to town and my dad and mom watch Hallmark. And my dad looked at me, and my dad actually for 72 does really well with tech stuff. He looked at me, he goes, "Tell me how to watch the Chicken Sisters." And I was like, "You have to pay for an app." He goes, "The only way to do it is to pay for another app." And I said, "Yeah." And he wasn't happy. And so I don't know, like it's not like it's Netflix or Hulu or stuff that started that way. This is a big, like, they're putting their prestige this is their prestige drama.
100%.
This is Hallmark's prestige drama. There's no way a cast costs more than this cast, because The Way Home is Andy McDowell and a bunch of Canadians. These are legit like leads across the board, and you've put it on the streaming service. And I
Now, question for you guys. Oh, no, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was done. Go ahead.
Question for you guys, and I'm sure there's a reason they're not doing this, but why don't they make an event out of putting the pilot on Hallmark channels so at least people can see it and get, why haven't they done that?
Don't get Bran started. Bran has
Oh, okay,
more-
good. So we're on the same.
Bran gets this better than I do, and also if he was running the launch of it, it would have been way more successful. It doesn't make any sense what they're doing. It's like they just randomly dropped an Aurora Teagarden movie that wasn't bad at all. That was like a solid movie, just randomly on a Thursday. So it's a mess of it.
Oh, I didn't know that. It was just on Thursday?
But that makes more sense to me. They probably had it then. Prestige drama, the only way you can do it is through a subscription service that half of your viewers don't know how to access.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling.
It's great. It's great. We love it. We love it. It's going well. We're going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine.
Everything's going to be fine.
And it's all going to be fine. Guys, Hallmark, don't blow this for us. My biggest thing is don't blow this because you throw too much money at this thing and then you don't have any money for the things anymore and then you got to shut down.
All right, calm it down there, Alex
Whoa.
Jones. What are you worried? Like what are you? You're a really slippery slope right now.
Hallmark is taking the frogs. They're making them act. I don't know.
I just think that I did not expect the stuff on Hallmark Plus to be better. I assumed that they would do some shows that were easy to produce and cheaper, like a reality show, like Celebrations. I watched an episode of that, and I said that belongs just on Hallmark Plus. I just thought it was going to be all that.
He
stuff.
loved it too. Big Celebrations fan. Dan keeps asking to watch episode 2.
Stop it.
He keeps asking to watch episode
Stop
2. And I'm like,
She
I know,
can do
but
no wrong.
we don't have the
Lacey
time.
Chabert is a light and wonderful and amazing. I don't ever want to watch that show again, ever.
But the teacher was promoting kindness. Dan.
That's right. Kindness Club. And
Kindness
that's great. I just think, Love on the Danube. Okay, I get it. But Groomsman Tyler Hines, Chicken Sisters, Aurora Teagarden, these are big time heavy hitters that are either qualitatively good or at the very least have the pedigree of a ratings bonanza for Hallmark.
Right.
Why? You have one of the few remaining vestiges of ratings bonanzas on television left in your network. Use it.
Use it.
Use it.
Or lose it.
Sheesh.
Use it. What was it? From
Toss it.
Toss it. Thank you. You knew it. Let's talk about Chicken Sisters episode 6. It is called
What was I thinking? I don't know what it was called.
I Choose to Be Happy, y'all.
It should have been called Dierks Bentley's What Was I Thinking?
I Choose to Be Happy, y'all.
But that makes sense.
October 10th, 2024, and it went a little something like this. Gus has always been the talk of Marinac. She was pregnant early. She does not trust men. She's always keeping receipts on what people are talking about with her. But she's also always kept literally everything else. And it has always affected her relationship with her kids, which is fine. But then it started to affect her business, which became less fine. And she ran out of room to bake her pies in her house. And that is how she became friends with the boys from a couple weeks ago. And you were like, we were like, well, how are they friends?
They're friends.
Now we know how they're friends. They opened up their kitchen to bake pies and whatnot, and that's how all that came to be. And we also find out about Jen, and we've been wondering, and I talked about it last week, or today, I think. Yes,
Whatever,
today.
it doesn't matter.
About how, I wonder how they're going to explain, like, what's going on there.
Turns out it's acupuncture.
He shows up. He does do the dirty. And the dirty, I mean, here is the acupuncture, which I think is icky. But that's what they do. They do it in the freezer. They do it anywhere they can where she doesn't actually have to go into his office.
Trying
because
to keep
then
that
people
acu a secret.
That's exactly right. Lindsay and Sabrina are talking early in the morning, and Lindsay's like, hey, can I shadow you today out on the old set? And she ends up actually being a big help. She's good with words. She's able to come up with a script really quickly. It's side dish day on the show, and everybody is prepping big except for May. May just wants to talk to her fiance, but he's not ready yet. And it's not just him who's not ready to talk and who's mad at May. Kenneth starts giving May the toot and is like, why is everyone mad at me? She's just so confused. Nancy is trying to get Frank Jr. to be honest about why he got a secret vasectomy, but he's not budging on the issue. Amanda comes in and tries one of Frank Jr.'s corn fritters, and immediately she thinks of Sergio. I'm starting to think maybe things aren't done with Sergio. With Gus being in pain, May comes in to prep with Sergio and talks with him about making out with her sister. When Amanda shows up to start prep, she's in the same room with Sergio. Tension is high. Then she walks outside and she's around May. Tensions are high, and it leads to a huge argument with May. It is now time for the competition, and Sergio makes hush puppies. Frank Jr. calls an audible and makes fried green tomatoes. It's a close call, but Sergio wins. boots. And
Sergio wins.
And Frank Jr. gets really mad and he starts talking stuff to Nancy, and Sergio's like, yo, don't talk to your mom like that. And he and Frank Jr. get into a little bit of a face-to-face, what are you going to do, huh?
Scrap.
And Frank Jr. punches him in the
punch
face. All of this, obviously, on camera. After Frank Jr. leaves, Nancy and Gus get into an argument, and Nancy brings up Gus sleeping with Frank Sr. right before they got married. Gus is like, I would have never in any universe slept with that man. He came to my house and told me that he was going to take Mimi's from me as soon as he could. Nancy's like, well, why would he lie to me? And Gus says, 'cause he's a man. On her way out, Amanda can tell that her mom...
It's maybe my least favorite pronunciation of any word Southern in this show. Was
man?
Wendy Malick said man, I thought was absurd. She's great otherwise.
Yes.
Just wanted to point that out.
Great.
Sorry.
Amanda can tell that her mom is in pain for the first time. She's like, what's going on there? So she goes to check on her later, and Gus hides because she doesn't, that's just what she does. So she goes to the restaurant. Maybe my mom is there, but it's not her mom. It's Sergio. And that is when they finally have time to talk about what happened between them. And she apologizes for making a bigger deal about it than it probably was to him, because you probably kiss a lot of women and whatnot, and so I'm sorry, and I'm not going to bother you anymore and all that good stuff. And Sergio's just like, get in the car, we're going for a drive. Nancy begins to wonder if she's been wrong about Frank Sr. all these years. Yes. And she takes off her wedding rings that she's still been rocking, even though he's been deceased for many, many moons. Sergio takes Amanda to a lot of land, and he says, I'm going to build a house here. I'm not just in this town for a little bit. I want to make a life here. And he explains that he's not trying to leave town, and he's not just kissing a lot of ladies. He says his heart was broken, and then he met Amanda, and everything changed. If he knew that, it was, oh no, I got his teeth.
Bless you.
If he had known that this wasn't going to go anywhere, then he wouldn't have kissed her. If he knew it was just trying to get something out of her system, he wouldn't have done that. But he thought that there was something real between them. And then, you broke things off in a voice memo. And she is like, are you going to hold that against me? And that one thing leads to another, and they end up kissing hard. Sergio is like, are you sure you want this? And she answers by kissing him some more. May is patching things up with Kenneth when her fiance comes in with bags. And the episode ends with Frank Jr. making a call from a payphone to the health inspector, telling him to come and take a look at Gus's place behind Mimi's. You're going to want to take a look at that. And that, my friends, was The Chicken Sisters, Season 1, Episode 6. I choose to be happy, y'all. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll break this episode down here on
Deck the Hallmark.
Welcome. I hope you're doing swell today. We're talking Chicken Sisters, Episode 6. Only 2 more left after this. Hard to believe.
Man, almost over.
Let's break this one down. We're going to start with a hot take. We're going to share exactly how we felt about this movie, and I will start with you, Jax. Jax, what'd you think, Episode 6?
Look, you guys, it's no secret. I love this gosh darn show. The next time I do something that maybe isn't within my moral compass or that I'm not proud of, I'm going to steal Mama Nancy's line. I may have taken a brief vacation outside of my values. Look, that entire scene, you guys, between Gus and Mama Nancy, delicious. The way it was acted, like the lines, the banter back and forth. My pain is a Paula Poundstone special to you. I don't speak Pris, Nancy. And then when she calls Frank Sr. a pot-bellied, ruddy-faced, sad flub of a husband of yours, I was like, yes. We have the sisters in the last episode just like killing it acting-wise, and the writing's so good. We have them in this episode. There's so much good in this episode, including Sergio and Amanda being just hot as all get out. this show's fantastic. I can't believe there's only 8 episodes, and I can't believe that we don't know about season 2 yet. More, please. I love it.
I just want, Jax, your reaction, and you can make it without any words if you'd like, to what Wynn calls the heart consistently getting up to 12 episodes and us getting 8 Chicken Sisters.
You know, nobody said that life was fair.
That's right.
That's true.
That's right.
That's true.
Yes.
Yep.
So another great episode of television. It's great to be back. Even though same day, same us, different episode.
Different episodes.
Last episode was the best episode of the season thus far, and I think it remains the best episode. But this was a strong episode. The movement continues. This show is going so quickly. Part of it might be because they have a lot to get to in 8 episodes, and they're not sure about what's going to happen if they're going to get a second season. But the pace keeps you fully engaged in this show. Everything matters, and I appreciate the way that this show sets you up for what's coming next. And, we could talk about how dumb Frank Jr. is all episode.
Oh my God.
But in the episode with him calling, like, all of it, I feel like it's moving, and I, for once, never quite know what's coming next. The only certainty was that Gus was not sleeping with Jen. I think we all were like, they're definitely going to Hallmark this up, and surely they did. The acupuncture thing was real dumb. It was a reason why it was my chicken last week when they finally get the reveal. Is it going to be dumb? Was pretty dumb.
Pretty dumb.
But what can you do? Aside from that,
be better in that regard.
little misstep, this show continues to slap, and this episode was great. Dano?
Yeah, this episode, plot-wise, struggles. The acupuncture thing, we'll talk more about that. The side dish thing, a lot of that stuff's a mess. But you know what's not a mess? 2 things. One, the characters. The characters are all really starting to take root. I'm really starting to enjoy that a lot more. These interactions, they mean something to me. I feel like they have stakes. I kind of know who I'm pulling for and what I want to see happen. All that's really good. And then the other through line of this episode, which is great, is this is a show with a bunch of legendary actors in it, set in the South, being pitched to an audience that is probably mostly in the South or Middle America, and it's telling them like how bad the patriarchy is. And it's doing it in such a subtly, wonderfully awesome, amazing way that people will enjoy the show and then maybe feel a little bit of guilt or a little bit of, they may have some thought afterwards, and it's great. Like even down to Gus's character who hates men and then finds herself surrounded by men who are allies. It's like, anybody that went to see Barbie and thought that Ken made all men look stupid and they didn't bother to think about it any further. Like this episode does that same kind of feminism 101 encapsulation of the problem and the solution not being as far off as we think it is, but it takes Gus stripping away all of this foundational knowledge she has of men and then leaning into men who are there to support her and to be by her and not in front of her or above her. Mm-hmm. That was great. And that leaking into juxtaposing it to Frank Jr. and juxtaposing it to what Nancy thinks should be going on, just have kids, be happy. All of that is a great stew. Like all of that is amazing. Characters, yes. That through line of this episode, bold Hallmark. I love it. Great. The actual things we're doing here, the side dish thing, Rukia Bernard stuff, I didn't think, like, she's great. I didn't think her stuff was good. Acupuncture, big downer. So not as good as last week, but the characters are moving in the right direction. And for that reason, I'm happy.
It's time for All the Feels, where we talk about when this episode gave us those feels. Jax?
Well, I'm going to add a feel that I didn't have because one of my feels is now Dan's take on that. The patriarchy. Like, are you kidding me? Yes, yes, yes. Preach. Okay. So there are a few things that I love more in the world than mentoring young women and helping them find their calling and purpose and things that they enjoy doing. So when Lindsay is writing this dialogue for her mom and you see her face and you see her light up, and she's been a tough cookie for the rest of the episodes, but I think that this was a really big payoff for me. Rukia does indeed have Riz. So I thought that was a cute line in this episode.
And you being able to do that as such a young woman yourself is just like, how do you do it? How do you do it?
It is astounding, honestly,
it really is.
isn't
The
it?
amount of wisdom.
Yeah.
Also, can I say, aside from Jax's youth, obviously, that scene, Jax, I'm glad it worked for you.
I wouldn't say this scene worked for me.
Okay.
I would just say Rukia
Yeah, fair.
does indeed have Riz.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then I had angry feels because obviously, look, Frank Jr. sucks. And I thought that there was one point earlier on that he was maybe going to make amends, and then it would be a difficult thing of, who is Amanda going to be with? What's going to happen? No, that's not the case. He truly sucks. No redeeming qualities. Can't stand the man. And then, of course, the sexy feels when
my gosh.
Sergio
I mean, are you
cannot
kidding me right now?
get out of his
Sheesh.
seatbelt, and she leans over and she says, "Here, let me help you with that. It can be tricky," and you can just feel the sexual tension just pulsating.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
I mean,
good?
it's still a family show.
Erin knows. I hear my girl. She knows.
Okay.
All right. All right.
My turn?
Yeah, sure.
You know what
Solid
I appreciate
pulsating. Go for it.
about this show, aside from the pulsating sexual tension, is every episode starts with this 2 to 3 minutes, kind of like a montage or showing you how a character kind of became what they are, or filling in some backstory. So it always starts when they're younger and it kind of works their way up. And I really appreciate that they've done that. In this episode in particular, I could not believe how much stuff they cover and reveal in the first 2 minutes of this episode through this device of that they've been doing every episode, where they start with the younger character and they work their way up. They give you so much information. Makes it tough as a synopsis writer, because I'm like, boy, I really got to get started quickly. But also, they do more in 2 to 3 minutes of the first part of this episode than Winkle's Art does in a whole season.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this is a crazy amount of information that they are giving you. Not a single minute is wasted. And I just I've already appreciated how they do it, but this episode really cemented that I love the way that they're starting these episodes, and that they're doing it every episode. I think it's a really cool thing to do. Dana?
So it's interesting you brought that up. Mine is that my feels is that, but it bothered me because that intro was so much, it was insulting. Like, Gus needs her own show. Like, everything that happened in that intro could be an entire television show. Like, she's like ostracized by the
Winkle's
town.
Heart would have worked that for 2 seasons.
Years, but she's ostracized as a teenager because she gets pregnant. Like, there's so many massive, like, and I've been, every week I watch this show and I start to research Hoarders, like, legitimately, because I'm just fascinated at, like, and
You never watched Hoarders, the show?
no, I couldn't possibly. I just watching the preview what made me want to shut it off, and so I have to do a little bit at a time because the idea of hoarding drives me nuts. And so, but she is somewhere. There's 5 levels of hoarding, Bran. She is on the, like, it's a mental illness. Gus is in between a level 3 and a level 4, in my opinion, probably a level 4, which means it would be difficult but not impossible for her to operate her job day to day on a day-to-day basis, and she's doing it. I don't think they're getting that wrong, but throwing all this other stuff in here is like I either need them to stop on this character and give her a more reasonable, explainable, manageable backstory like the rest of our cast of characters, or I need her to get a spinoff, because it's a lot. It's a lot, and we get 10 minutes of Wendy Malick a week, and there's no way to even bring all that every 10 minutes. And so I appreciated answering questions. I was just like, what are we doing? Like, can't bake a pie. Now she's friends with Kenneth and blah, blah, blah. And then the acupuncture and then the black, like, it was just like, could have sprinkled this in literally anywhere else. So there you have it.
I've watched quite a few episodes of Hoarders. My mom used to love that show, and I would sit down and I would watch it with her. And it like her character it feels very real to me, about, like, especially with the amount of stuff that she has, and it just seems
Well, when she's
It seemed like
what set me off this week.
I don't think it came out of nowhere. Clearly, somebody knew in the writing of this knew something about someone.
What set me on the research path was she can't open her own oven, and so like that brings you up a level in hoarding when you start. Like if you have one level is like one or more bedrooms is inoccupable, like and then another one is when you can't use the things in your house like appliances, and so. That level, there's some other things that go along with that level that she is clearly more above currently than that level of mental illness. But you're right. They don't just have her out there going, oh, I'm hoarding on the side. I think it's somewhere in between reality and that. That would be what I would say.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get to the wait what and the chicken or fried.
It's a segment sweeping the nation.
And chicken of the week here on Deck the Hallmark. Welcome back, everybody. It is great to be here today. 2 episodes, second of 2 today.
Double feature.
A lot of people say it can't be done
On a Saturday?
I know.
Gosh, we're doing it.
We sure are. It's time to get to the Wait What Is, where we talk about what in this episode made us go Wait What. I'll start with you, Jax. Jax, what you got?
2 things. You guys have already talked about the acupuncture thing. I think I just can't track. Like, look, if it would have been therapy, I could have talk therapy. I could have understand why she would want to hide that because there could be shame in talking about mental illness. There shouldn't be, but there still is, especially in communities like this. But the acupuncture, I was truly baffled. And then also the way that it was played where like Cardi Wong, who I've loved for years on Hallmark, comes in, he's like, where should we do it?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
So
he was directed to do it that way. I know he was, because they wanted them to think that he was just gonna get to know her biblically right there in front of everyone on the counter. Like that didn't make a lick of sense. I still love Cardi. It's all fine, but I didn't understand why acupuncture could even be a thing.
In a truck at one point together in this show?
Yes.
Why?
They were.
Why?
That is
It's a great question because people know what he does for a living.
Yeah.
He has an office. So if you see him with her.
It is the first time that this show has not always been my cup of tea, but that plot point was the first time I was like, lazy, be better.
Hasn't been your basket of chicken.
Yeah, exactly. It literally was so infuriating. It was a win calls the heart level plot. Like it was like, this is bad.
Dan, I don't know if I would go that far.
Oh, I think it was. I think that, and maybe it sticks out more because everything else has been better, but come on, guys.
You ever done acupuncture? Puncture?
No, but I've heard.
What about
I loved it.
acupuncture?
I would ask you if you had, but
I couldn't spell it.
But the fact that you could, no.
Oh Lord,
I don't.
No. The needles?
No.
You don't
Oh,
have to
see,
look
I
at
don't
it.
mind the needles. I get them in my forehead for Botox, and I'm
Sure.
fine with it. But I don't need. I don't know.
I don't like. Why are you getting Botox so young?
Yeah,
though?
at
That's the thing I
26
don't
years old.
understand.
It's preventative.
Unbelievable.
It's preventative.
Botox.
Really?
Saw him live
Yeah.
actually. By the way,
really good.
Really good. A little stiff.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, they were tight though.
Yeah,
they
they
were
were.
tight, man.
They were.
Oh my gosh.
exactly. I mean, come on. And wait, I do actually have two
Encore, though,
other
got a little
little
drippy.
ones.
The encore does
Wait,
get
what?
a little drippy.
By the time the encore happened, they were a little droopy, a little bit like out of
Mine
this
were?
No, the bands.
Oh.
The
Preventative
bands that we
Botox.
made up. A lot like the coal miners, Jax.
Yes, we're talking about your Botox in
Jax
front
still
of you.
thinks Chicken of the Week's a real segment, so we're doing our best.
What are your thoughts on Jack's Botox? Good? Should you keep
I think
doing
it's
it?
fine. I think it's a C- Botox job.
I've seen worse.
Jax, I would have never known that you got Botox.
I'm speaking
Would have
out.
never known, Jax.
I'm speaking out because, it's just one of those things
Yeah.
that, like, I'm not ashamed. And if people, I've got help
You
up
and
there.
Patrick Serrano. He wants to talk about Botox every time he's on our show.
Wait, for real? I didn't know
Yeah.
Patrick gets it.
Yeah.
Should have known.
Yeah.
That baby. But isn't he only 25?
Sure.
That's
Just
my
a year
understanding.
younger than me. A year younger than me.
Patrick and I were born in the same year. We talk about it on the show regularly. He's literally 2 months older than me. So
Wait,
Patrick
really?
Serrano is older than me. Yeah. Can you believe that?
He's a baby.
Maybe there's
Wait,
something
wait,
to this. Maybe there's something to the Botox.
Maybe the
the
Botox
tox?
is real. Maybe it's not a fad for the last 2
But if you
decades.
don't start young, if you don't start
Then
early,
it looks
like
weird.
people are going
Like,
to notice if I start
I'm
taking
too
it, right?
I'm too late. Yeah.
You would be surprised.
Okay.
You think so? My
let me
biggest
tell you
thing
why.
is I don't want to end up like, somebody who...
You're just thinking of Tim Allen in Christmas with the Cranks.
No. What I'm thinking about is like, the actors that have really like...
Courtney Cox, who is
I
said...
wasn't going to mention names, but yeah, like people like that, that's like clearly you've done one too many things at the very
But the
least.
thing is, that's never really Botox. That's like fillers, facelift,
which you've already done. So
yeah.
I'm already
I mean,
ahead of that.
clearly.
That doesn't bother me at all.
Clearly.
So just a little Botox.
That's like a lot of other
There's
things.
nothing. It's not a gateway drug. There's no slippery slope there. We can just
For
get
me,
it,
for me, it's not number one because I can't really afford it. Number two, because I'm like, I just wanted to get rid of this little line in between my eyes, and now it's gone.
I've just never looked at my face and been like, it's worth caring about it.
Same.
So
I
that's
had
why
people
I don't
on-
have much of a career because I
Yeah.
think maybe I might have something if I cared a little bit more.
I shouldn't buy into the industry, but I had people on a couple of sets say stuff.
Oh, that sucks.
So then now it's gone, and they don't say anything anymore.
Dang.
Also, I haven't done a movie
brutal.
in like a year, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna tell you, but
But
weirdly enough, all the roles you're up for is looking for someone with a line right here.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy.
You'd be perfect if you looked a little older.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Okay, so my two other
Yes.
little ones, I'll do them quick. But the other thing that I wanted to ask you guys, I do believe that Gus didn't have an affair with Frank Sr. I believe
Yeah,
it. But
I
what was
believe
the
it.
point? What was the point of him telling?
I think that we've established Nancy as, unless she's taken a brief vacation from her values, as a stand-up human being who believes she's doing the right thing, even if that's upholding the patriarchy. She believes in her heart she wants to be kind to Gus and to Mimi's, not mean to them. If her husband had told her that he was going to run Mimi's out of town, she would have put a stop to it. And so it was easier because she biblically believes she cannot divorce. Biblically, she believes that it's easier for Frank Sr. to come home and take the bullet on an affair than to say, I'm going to run Mimi's out of town. So that actually
Thank
worked
you.
for me. Yeah.
No. You
I
explaining
asked
that
the same
it works
question.
perfectly for me.
I had the same question, and he explained
Yeah.
it to me as well. So
No, that actually makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And then the final thing, which I just thought was funny, was that, and I think May and Kenneth did a great job with these scenes where May's bringing all these presents, but when she brings the mango body lotion that she should have brought to his bachelor party, I was like, is that her way of actually saying lube, or does he just like mango body lotion?
Who can say?
I will say there
can
was an
say?
extra long stare there between after that, it was like, this is the word we can say. We're going to hold on this for a little bit. We're going to make sure as many people that will get it can get it, and then we're going to move on. It felt like that to me anyway.
Well done.
Yeah.
I liked it.
This is the single worst way to possibly judge a food competition. To have
Yes.
three judges
Yes, it's terrible.
there, they try both of them, and then they just every food competition I've ever watched, they do the one, try it, talk about the one.
That's right.
They bring out the other, you try that.
And they don't know
they
whose
give
is
each
whose.
Yes, and they give each one their own time to talk about what worked,
And
what
then they
didn't work.
dismiss them and talk. Yes.
That's right. This is just like, oh, here's all of it at this one time. What do you like more? It's just, it was really, obviously done for time, but also that's the cop. He lives here. He knows them.
Yeah.
That seems like there's some weird biases that could take place there.
Biases.
Yeah.
Biases. Okay.
Is that wrong?
No.
Biases.
Yeah.
Biases.
Biases.
I'm biasy right now.
Sometimes I like to go to the mountains. Sometimes I like to go biases.
Biasy, yeah. I have one more, and maybe maybe this could be. You know what? No, I'm going to say it now because I don't really get it. So Frank Jr. goes at the end and he calls the health and food safety people and whatnot, and he's basically calling. My understanding is he's calling
On her house.
which is
Yeah.
behind Mimi's. Which, why would it matter? Why would it matter if she's hoarding in the house?
If it's the same property?
Yeah,
If
go
it's the same
ahead. Hi,
property,
Aaron.
it
How
could
are
be
you?
condemned.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Hi.
So I have not seen the show, but I did read the book, and in the book, the same plot line happens, and
Okay.
it's because the desserts are made at her house.
Ah.
So
the
she
pies.
is making, the pies
Yeah.
are made in her,
But
her
in
home.
this particular television show, they established that she no longer makes the pies
But
in
she
her
did
house.
for a while.
But
at
she
least.
doesn't. She hasn't for
Yeah.
years in the show, which is
well,
crazy.
they do that in the book too, but she occasionally, when she feels like
Okay.
it, will do it. So occasionally the pies are still from
That's
her
interesting.
house.
so I would
that makes
assume
sense.
that if if it's on the same premises and then the health codes would stand. So like if her house is on the premises with the restaurant and it's condemned, you can't run the restaurant.
Interesting.
But that makes sense too.
I also thought of it as, even if it ends up being nothing to do with the restaurant can't shut down, just the utter cruelty of it and really messing up her life. I actually think that makes it even worse than just trying to get the restaurant condemned. He sucks.
Do you know what I would like? First of all, the one character, the one thing that I don't think holds up in the show is Frank Jr. in general. And I think they're trying to make him a villain, and I'd love for him to be a better villain. One thing that among many things that I think would have helped there, but one thing that I think would have definitely helped there is if he still talks to his dad. If we had, because it would also establish this patriarchal thing, if we had his dad as a character that only he can see and he talks to, I think that would have made it a lot of fun. I know that's not this show, but I think that could have really gone a long way here.
Interesting. Okay, Dan, do you got any way what's?
Yeah, you're telling Mimi's they're making a new side dish? Really? Mimi's. She won't change anything for anyone. And you're telling her she has to make a new side dish for her fried chicken menu? Not on your life. Not on your life. It would not happen. Franny's, I can see it. They're trying to franchise, but Mimi's has served 3 sides. You're not just going to be like, hey, get creative in the kitchen. Mimi's whole thing is not creative. Ask Brandon. Half the places you go to eat is just because he knows it won't be creative.
That's right.
And so the idea that she's going to throw something new is antithetical to her entire deal. And I thought that was crazy. And I thought that whole scene, the scene where Lindsay is writing for her, Lindsay is in the pocket for reality TV show writing. This is not her first draft. This is a writer that's been doing it for 5 seasons and knows how Guy Fieri talks already. Like, this is her first go. She hears her mom struggle, and the first thing she thinks of sounds like something that every Food Network star has said numerous times. Come on, guys. There's just no way. There's no way.
But also, why is Sabrina so bad at it? Like, this isn't the first. Like, she's supposed to be like really good at her job.
Conversely, yes, Rukia Bernard, is she just having an off day? Is her daughter making her nervous because she's awful, and she's purposefully awful in the scene? And that didn't make any sense to me either.
But also, you pointed out while we were watching it, like, there's not a director to
That's my next
sorry,
one.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's totally fine. You're forgiven. The Chicken Sisters basically says that directors are not important. That is the thesis of this show. The reality show Kitchen Clash has no director. She is doing takes with a cameraman, and she's going, can I have another one? There's no director anywhere in sight. Jax, just give me a little bit of insight here. Is that?
Oh, no. Yeah, this is a mess. And also, like, I don't know why they just don't have a director. That could be another fun character.
Easily.
Like, I enjoyed hearing from the cameraman. He had that really funny line. She's like, who signs your checks? And he's like, the guy at the entertainment department. Like, let's have a director in there doing some stuff. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And then
she's the talent.
That's right. And then the last one is that guy that's filming for a reality show. There's no way he stops filming when Nancy gets in his face and says to stop. That's when it's getting good. If Nancy says to stop filming, every reality TV director of photography is going to continue to roll.
He would have been fired. He would have been fired on the spot for putting his camera down.
He's going to continue to roll. He has no choice. He's going to continue to roll. There's nothing that can stop him aside from the director that is not there telling him to stop. It's just not happening. Yeah. That is all I got.
It's time for Chicken and Fries, where we talk about something that's making us a little bit scared for the future or is getting us real ready to go when we're fried. Jax?
I know I can't be both, but I will say I am feeling a little bit chicken. As much as I love this show, I'm getting nervous about, they're going to do it in the car, right? Like, she's literally only ever kissed one. They're about to do it in a car. And I'm just afraid that this is all going to come crashing down. I don't want her to fight with Mama Nancy, but maybe she won't. Maybe Mama Nancy will be like, good for you, girl. Like, I don't know, but I'm just nervous because things are escalating very quickly with Sergio. I thought it would work its way back with some longing glances, but they're making out, right, Bran? That's
I
more
know.
your speed.
I
I've talked
know.
to your wife about everything.
That's right. slow
No,
it
not
down.
now that you're married. No, sorry, not now that you're married. No, Caitlin and I were saying how charming it was and how wonderful your courtship was. I was saying that as like a compliment.
Well,
Anyway,
it was a
moving
wonderful
on.
courtship,
It was,
Bran.
it was a top 5 courtships
Top 5
for
courtships
sure.
of all time.
Yeah, I'm chicken in a similar manner. There's so much to do.
So much to see.
So what's wrong with taking more time? Give us more episodes. I'm nervous about how much they are going to try to jam into 2 episodes. Because to your point, Dan, they did so much in 2 minutes, 3 minutes that could have been and maybe would have benefited from being spread out a little bit, even though I appreciate it at the same time. But there's so many loose ends, sure. It's things that need to be wrapped up or move or something.
I don't know what I'm anticipating. That is
I know,
if
I
I have
don't
a
know.
complaint and I can be chicken or fried about it, it doesn't matter, whatever. I'm team Mimi's this week. I don't know what I'm supposed to be anticipating in the last 2 episodes. And I think that's been my big thing about the show is even character-driven serialized shows like The Sopranos or Mad Men have an overarching season theme. Are we going to find out the winner of Kitchen Clash?
Yeah.
Are we? What is
that?
They've said nothing of the sort. They're giving us no breadcrumbs to a possible finale. It seems like this is an 8-episode trailer for next season, and hearing there might not be a next season, that's crazy.
They're using all the bread for the breading of the chicken and not even any for us.
You get it. Same bread.
Same bread.
That's right.
That's right. We did, everybody. Congratulations.
Yeah, we did.
It's time for Chicken of the Week. It's
Yeah,
where
it
somebody
is.
emails in and lets us know of a chicken that they would like to, shout out or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Who do we have today?
We have Corletta, and all I have here is Corletta. Her eggs is better.
That's right. That's right. Her eggs are better.
They are?
They are, yes,
Who
sir.
is this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is Eugene.
Eugene.
That's right.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people, let me just shut you off there. A lot of people talk about me and they say, Eugene, he is so high on these eggs. What's he talking about? These eggs can't possibly be better than everybody else's eggs. And here's what I need you to know.
Everybody else's bakes?
Eggs. And here's what I need you to know. I have been to every single continent.
You've been to Antarctica?
Yes.
Wow.
I have been to all of the top 100 farms on this country and every
country?
And I need you to know,
Eugene,
I haven't. Shut it,
Eugene.
Please stop. I
Eugene.
haven't tried every egg. That'd be impossible. I've tried more eggs than anyone else in the world. I hold the Guinness books, and I need you to know my eggs are better. Colette's eggs are better than the rest. Corletta's
eggs. Okay, there's so much there, Eugene. But
I don't have a lot of time.
You said you've been to every country.
Yes.
In the world.
That's not what I said.
Yes.
In what way did I say that?
Jax, the second time, didn't he say country?
I was so charmed by you, Eugene, that I actually wasn't taking in the content of what you were saying.
Nice.
But your love for Corletta comes through.
Dynamite dropping, Jax.
No one's
Thank
done
you
as
so
much work as me.
for nothing.
It's not without tries. It's not without tries. I've been to a lot of places. I've eaten more. I hold the Guinness.
But do you have a record in the Guinness Book of World Records, or do you just hold in your hand the Guinness World Record book?
Okay. I knew one day this would come back to bite me. I'm not in it yet. I'm not. I've been saying it for a long time that I hold.
You're starting to sound a little more like Trace.
That I hold Guinness book in my hands. But no, I'm not in it yet. But they won't. Do you have any other?
Do you have any other? Do you have any other chickens that aren't Corletta? Just Corletta.
Yes.
Okay, and her eggs is better.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much, Eugene.
God bless.
Yeah.
We did, everybody. Congratulations.
Why do people not listen to this show? I don't get it.
I don't know. We'll be back next time with another one. Until then, maybe the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.